The Caitlyn Angel rivalry or whatever you want to call it, isn't that just women being competitive?
I think it's women being competitive, but honestly, I think that the more visibility you get, the more scrutiny you're gonna get. I mean, that's just nature. As women, I think society always tries to put you in a box.
This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year.
Wow.
Outstanding. She's like Steph Curry. She could pull up from anywhere. You understand? She has that con.
You know what's wild? I get asked all the time if I feel any kind of resentment about where the WNBA stands right now. And honestly, not at all. Because Candace Parker just said what every single Caitlin Clark fan has been shouting from the rooftops all season. And it's exactly the kind of truth the WNBA's old guard didn't want to hear. The league, and especially the commissioner, better start paying attention. We thought a new season would bring a shift in how Caitlyn and her supporters were treated. Instead, it's gotten uglier. The envy's louder, the pettiness deeper, and the double standards couldn't be more obvious. But then Candace, an icon in the W, came through and made them all look ridiculous. She didn't even have to try, just pure no-nonsense.
And it's about knowing the players and establishing the rivalries and being able to have the merchandise. And so I think that it's so exciting for me to see
facts, the kind that slice right through the chaos and lay it all bare. Maybe, just maybe, it'll finally make folks stop and reevaluate, because if this season's made anything clear, it's this. The more Caitlyn dominates, the more unhinged the league looks. So let's break down what Candace actually said. It might be the calmest yet most savage clapback to the Caitlin Clark haters and the WNBA's status quo. But first,
a fever, Kelsey, Money, Mitch, put them in a ditch. Lexi Holt taking over. Ari McDonald and her farm giving me assists, giving me steals.
Hit that like button. Each one equals a tissue for the haters. Trust me, they'll need them after what Candace just dropped. And of course, make sure to subscribe for all the latest Caitlin Clark and Fever updates. All right, so why now? Why is Candace stepping in, and why does it matter so much? Here's the core of it. This woman stepped into a struggling franchise and instantly turned it into must-watch TV. Outside of LeBron and Steph, Caitlyn is easily the most recognizable basketball player actively competing in the US today. And
Donald made an immediate impact with the Indiana Fever, so much so many Fever fans are going to be clamoring to keep her around. You know, she played tough. She played 27 minutes on top of that, right? Like they needed every bit of it, because this is a team that is bereft of ball handlers and point guard play. So on this hardship deal, she comes in and immediately plays a bulk of the game, drawing some.
Honestly, it's not even close. The WNBA is booming right now, and guess who's driving it? Yeah, Caitlin Clark. It's the worst kept secret in sports. Caitlyn isn't just the most talked about player in league history. She might be the most buzzworthy athlete in the entire country, period. We've all seen the stats from last season. TV ratings through the roof, ticket sales exploding, merch flying off shelves. Every single stat made it crystal clear Caitlyn moves the needle like no one else. And this year, she's not slowing down. Sold out games, record-breaking numbers. The Caitlin Clark effect is only picking up speed. One recent game, second highest average viewership ever on CBS, and the highest peak audience of any WNBA game broadcasted there. Fans are tuning in like never before. It all kicked off with a preseason match against Brazil that pulled 1.3 million viewers. Preseason. Let that sink in. Numbers most regular season games only dream of. Then came opening night. 2.7 million average viewers against Chicago, the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. And a matchup with the Liberty peaked at 3.3 million. But then, the momentum hit a wall. Caitlyn got injured, and everything shifted instantly. Ticket prices for that Fever versus Sky game? Straight to the basement. We're talking a 300% drop without her on the floor. And while Fever fans have held steady with TV numbers, more on that in a bit, the rest of the league? Not even close. This should have been the league's wake-up call. Players, coaches, execs, everyone. Caitlin is projected to generate over $1 billion for the WNBA this season. One player, $1 billion. That's how crucial she is. Which also means one bad injury away from the entire house of cards collapsing. So to anyone banking on those juicy CBA checks Angel Reese keeps hinting at, or the leverage Nafessa Collier swears they've got, without Caitlin, it's a wrap. And yet, the league keeps playing itself. Instead of embracing the obvious, they twist themselves into pretzels trying to make it about something, anything else. Rather than celebrating the wins, they keep dragging the convo into nonsense. And the loudest voices? They're not talking hoops. They're out here stirring the pot with racial baiting and divisive narratives. I'm not naming names, but it's coming from inside the W, coaches, media figures, insiders. There's this weird animosity toward Caitlin Clark that honestly makes zero sense. How can anyone resent someone bringing this much attention, money, and opportunity to the league? We're just a few games in, and it's already been one cringe moment after another when it comes to how Caitlin and her fans are being treated. It started immediately. After Game 1, the league launched an investigation into hate speech, based on literally nothing. But the damage? Already done. Instead of hyping up a jaw-dropping debut and a historic TV moment, the headlines were hijacked. Basketball took a back seat. Once again, Caitlin and her supporters were dragged into a drama that had nothing to do with actual on-court action. And even though the rumor was 100% fake, the league fed into it by issuing a vague statement condemning hate, essentially giving that nonsense legitimacy. And out of that ridiculous drama, a brand new narrative was born. Indianapolis is unsafe, and Caitlin's fan base is toxic. People were actually calling for the All-Star game to be relocated. Others wanted Dave Portnoy banned from arenas for heckling Angel Reese. Meanwhile, the league stayed silent on the very real hate against Caitlin and the Fever. Not a peep, no statement, no protection, nothing. It's gone way past normal sports discourse. What's being thrown at Caitlin and her teammates, especially Kelsey Mitchell and Natasha Howard, is absolutely out of pocket. We're talking about photos with literal bullseyes drawn on them, people saying it's on site. That's not just trash talk, that's a threat. And for a league that constantly touts its no room for hate mantra, they've done absolutely nothing. Radio silence. And just when you thought it couldn't get more ridiculous, now folks on X are accusing Caitlin of using her assistant coach's baby as a prop. Yup, holding a baby turned into some wild conspiracy. The hate? It's boiling over. And where's Kathy Engelbert, the queen of inclusion? Nowhere to be found. Not a word. Even with the numbers, the packed arenas, the record views, there's still pushback. And it starts right at the top. In a drawn-out op-ed for Harvard Business Review, Commissioner Engelbert basically tripped over herself trying to take credit for the WNBA's rise, while sidestepping Caitlin entirely. She gave kudos to everyone. Coaches, players, marketers, strategists, you name it. But somehow, Caitlin barely got a mention. To the casual fan, it reads like the WNBA got hot out of nowhere, thanks to some mythical wave of elite rookies and long-term planning. But we know better. We all know better. That 1.2 million viewer average Engelbert bragged about, that was Caitlin's games. Not a blend, not a mix. Her games alone. But because the old guard can't stand watching her get the credit she deserves, they keep tossing participation trophies at everyone else. They just can't accept it. They can't handle the fact that she's more popular than their chosen stars, and instead of checking their egos, they double down on jealousy. But this isn't just envy. It's borderline sabotage. And in way, too many conversations, people default to race as the reason she's shining. As if it couldn't possibly be that she's setting records left and right, made first-team All-Star, finished top 5 in MVP voting, and dragged a basement tier team into the playoffs her rookie year. It's beyond wild, because like it or not, Caitlin Clark's success lifts the entire league. That spotlight, it doesn't stop with her. It spills onto every player, every team, every arena. When the Fever play in front of 15,000, 20,000 fans, that's exposure for everyone. That's how new fans fall in love with other players. That's how the league grows. We've already had WNBA legends speak out, people who built this league from the ground up. Lisa Leslie, a literal Hall of Famer, called it out plainly. The jealousy surrounding Caitlyn is hurting the game, and she's not wrong. I think it's about money. It's about marketing, she said. And we can't pretend Caitlin Clark hasn't had a huge effect on women's basketball. No one's asking you to like her. But pretending she's not changing the game for the better, that's just delusional. Two-time Olympic gold medalist. One of the most accomplished, respected, and sharpest minds the WNBA has ever seen. And this week, she sat down with Stephen A. Smith on First Take to do something almost no one else in the league has dared to. Call out the obvious. At the core of it all, a growing sentiment that so many incredible women in the WNBA have been putting in major work to elevate the game, yet the appreciation hasn't always matched the effort. And give credit to Stephen A., because he's never been shy about saying what others dance around. He's one of the rare mainstream voices willing to drop the word jealousy. He's seen it. Fans feel it. Everyone paying attention to the WNBA knows it's real. So when Nafessa Collier voiced frustration over Caitlyn Clark getting more nationally televised games, Stephen A. didn't hold back. He dropped a truth bomb. Then came Michael Jordan. And even before the championships, his stardom was so massive that the entire NBA began orbiting around him. Marketing revolved around MJ, and guess what? It worked. So now, when the league has another megastar who could do the same for women's basketball, why is it suddenly a problem? This wasn't some puff piece interview. No sugarcoating, no ducking tough questions. Just straight to the heart of the matter. Can you speak to the frustration some might be feeling, and whether or not that's starting to shift as the league continues to evolve and grow? Candace delivered one of the most thoughtful, clear-headed, and reasoned responses we've heard so far. The kind of answer that had Caitlin Clark supporters nodding like, yup, that's it. It's wild to me, Candace said, because I get asked all the time. They want to twist it into a white versus black thing. And now that toxicity is spilling into people who don't even watch games, but suddenly feel like they have a say because they caught a headline or a hot take on the timeline. Cut it out. You say you want the league to grow, then walk that talk. Stop saying keep it about basketball while doing the opposite. Caitlin Clark, she's just been balling, delivering what the fans came to see. Growing the game in ways the WNBA has never seen before, and none of it, not one bit, has been about race. She hasn't disrespected anyone, not the vets, not the fans, not the other players. She's been pure class, showing love to legends, hyping her teammates, and staying humble through it all. She's not tearing anything down. She's elevating the entire league. Just listen to Lisa Leslie. I love that. She's not one of those it's all about me players. She gives props, she pays respect, she uplifts her teammates, and she doesn't have to, but she does. And that's coming from a foundational pillar of the league, not a bandwagon. Fan. An OG. Now Candace is carrying that same torch, preaching the mindset every WNBA player should have. Leave the game better than how you found it, so someone like Caitlyn can pick it up, just like Candace did years ago. That's how this works. Magic and Bird passed it to MJ. MJ lit the way for Shaq, Kobe, and LeBron. Now it's Luka and SGA. One generation pushes the next to be greater, and even with all the shine MJ got, you don't hear legends like Dominique or Dr. J being salty. Why would they? They watched him elevate the game. That's the point. Candace wrapped it up with a message the league needs to hear loud and clear. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. This is about the future of the W. The league is at a tipping point in the best way possible. For me, it's business now, she said. At the end of the day, it's about business. And Candace gets it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a highlight reel. She's a business booster. If your biggest challenge is getting people to give the product a shot, Caitlin is the walking solution. She's a marketing dream. And for anyone thinking the league has the upper hand heading into the next CBA without her, her recent injury should be a reality check. But here's where it gets interesting. Even without Caitlin, Fever fans showed up. That Friday game against the Sun pulled in 851,000 viewers, the most watched WNBA game on ION this season. and she wasn't even on the floor. No, it's not the same as having Caitlyn in the game, but that's not the point. The Caitlin Clark effect is real. It's spreading, first to the Fever, and if the league plays it right, eventually across the board. These shifts don't happen overnight, but when done right, they create the kind of momentum that carries the next superstar even higher. Right now, we're sitting in the most important growth window in WNBA history, and the league can't afford to keep fumbling it. That means welcoming the new fans, embracing the new star, and most importantly, protecting her. Start with better officiating. Call it fair, because you cannot let players go after your crown jewel without consequences. The more legends like Candace Parker speak up, the better chance this league has to survive and thrive. The only question left is, will the WNBA finally get it? Or will their Achilles heel, their refusal to embrace Caitlyn and the millions she's brought with her, end up being the very thing that keeps them from rising for good? If you're still here, drop a in the comments. Because that's exactly what you are. Appreciate you for watching. Catch you in the next one.